Seconds is how long you have to make a good first impression when you enter a room. For anybody who was observing, what were the things that I did wrong? I was on the phone. Not good to have your attention diverted. Anything else? Didn't know where I was going. Anything else? Pardon? Shirt untucked. Are you kidding? Yes, I knew that. Okay. What else?
It was clumsy.
Clumsy? Didn't really have a sense of purpose about myself, did I? What else?
You're like looking at the clock, you didn't know what time it was.
Yep. Okay, what else?
You looked at the room.
I was 30 seconds late. Should you ever be late to a meeting?
No.
What is being late a sign of?
Incompetence.
Incompetence, yes, and disrespect more so than that. In fact, I see a couple of people coming in late. It's a sign of disrespect.
I have a good excuse.
Don't want to hear it right now. Okay? My tie was undone. Okay? When you come into a room, the 15 seconds you have to make a first impression are the most important that you will ever have. You have to enter with a purpose, and you also have to smile. So everybody smile. All right, did everybody take the quiz?
Yeah.
Hand up your sheets. Let me see the numbers. Okay, wait a minute. I want everybody with a 1, anybody with a 1 to come down here and sit in the front row. Anybody with a 2, come down and sit in the front row. Yeah, we're gonna move. 1 and 2 here. Do you have any 3s and 4s? 3, 4, and 5s. This row. 6, 7, and 8. Right here. That's 4. 9, 10, and 11. Guess what? We're not going to do Okay, gentlemen, hats off. In the world of business, gentlemen do not wear hats inside. Okay, so we have 1s, 2s, and a late person. 3s and 4s. Okay? All of you, I'm going to pick 5 of you to come up and entertain us later today. Now, of course, they're all sitting there saying, oh my God, this is horrible. Okay? So what I'd like you to do now, I promise it's not gonna hurt, okay? What I'd like you to do now is, everybody stand up and repeat after me. Ready? Nobody sits in the back row. Gotta come down front. Ooze. Confidence. I can do that better with a sore throat than you can. Ooze. Confidence. All right, now while you're standing, I want you for the next 10 seconds to repeat the sound of any farm animal. Horse, dog, cat, goat, sheep, cow, whatever. Everybody got an animal? 1, 2, 3, go! Stop. I think I was the only jackass in the room. All right, now what I'd like you to do is introduce yourself to the 3 people around you. Take about 1 minute with each person.
Hi guys, how you guys doing up there? Yeah, good. How you doing? Yeah. Same one.
Okay, everybody sit down. When I was in college, I didn't know it, but if I had taken the introversion extroversion quiz, I would have scored a -3. I was that introverted. If I got called on, my mouth instantly went dry. The fear of being called on was so intense, okay? So, earlier this month, I went down to Orlando and spoke for an hour in front of a crowd of 2,000 people. Yesterday, I was in Washington, D.C., giving testimony before the U.S. Congress. You say, how in the world could such an introverted person change? And it's simply by this: practice. Expanding your comfort zone, a little bit at a time. The more you do something, the more you get comfortable doing it. And that's what we're going to work on a little bit today. Introversion is not something to be feared. In fact, it is a strength. Introverts look at the world differently. They look in a much more reflective manner than extroverts do. I am proud to be an introvert. I will be an introvert all my life, okay? And if you are an introvert, if you are sitting near the front of this auditorium, you are likely to be an introvert. You ought to be proud of it. However, introversion is never an excuse to not network, to get out there and meet people. So, one of the things that I did in my life was I got married. Do you think I married an introvert or an extrovert? Extrovert, opposites attract, right? And for the longest time, we didn't really know what our personality types were. We did know that she was more extroverted than I, and she actually helped me out a lot in the business in terms of helping me get out of my shell. But what was also unique is that we were different in almost every aspect of our personality. If we were gonna go shopping for a day, we lived in a rural area like this, all right? I would have everything planned out. We'd have 5 stops, I know the ETAs for each one, and I knew when we were gonna get back, all of that. So in the middle of the trip, typically to another city, my wife would turn to me and she would say, Ron, do you think we can go over here too? My answer was, that's not part of the plan. Okay, no. Then we took some personality tests to learn about each other, all right? And my wife learned how to ask the question, Dear, do you think that we could change the plan so that we can also do this? Right? And then she learned how to be silent, so my wheels could turn. 45 seconds later, I said what every good husband should tell his wife. Of course, dear, absolutely. Right? Personalities are very important. They help determine your aptitude for things. At the same time, they can show you things that you need to work on. And one of those could be introversion. Extroverts might think they have it made in this world, but let me give you a story. One of my partners in my financial planning practice out of Florida before I became a professor was the most outstanding extrovert there was. I mean, he could go out and start a conversation with anybody, anytime. And we would go together. I thought we made a pretty good team, or at least he thought we made a pretty good team. And we would go see new clients, new prospects together. And we would meet with somebody for an hour. And he would walk out of that meeting and say, we nailed it. Wow, we were great together. And I would look at him and say, John, do you know what just happened? He says, no. I said, you talked 19% of the time. We have 0 relationship with that person. He said, no, I didn't talk 90. I said, yes, you did. All right? The mistake that extroverts make quite often is they dominate conversations. If you want to get somebody to trust you, you listen to them. All right? Extroverts need to learn what I call the 70-30 rule. Listen to another person 70% of the time. Only talk 30% of the time. If you can do that as an extrovert, you'll make much better relationships with people. So this class is about networking. Why is it important? Everything that you achieve in your life to date has likely been done because you have a relationship with somebody else, and that person has helped you along the way. In the future, you're likely to have 20 people that impact your life significantly. Some of those will be mentors or teachers. Others will be close family members. Okay? Probably at least half of them will be particular clients or customers or contacts that you have that substantially increase your wealth. You have to be able to connect with those people and find those people. Connections, making that connection is what all of this is about. Now, I hate small talk, okay? Put me in a room and I'll just sit there in the corner unless I actively say I can't do this, okay? So, one of the tools that I found whenever I go to a party or a reception or something like that, knowing that I'm an introvert, okay, I would prefer to just sit quietly in a corner and read something, pull out my cell phone, my iPhone, and read, or listen to some great pre-1990s music. But I can't do that every second. That's not why I'm there. I have to force myself out. So one of the tools that I use is I pretend that I am the host of that event. Of course, I don't say I'm the host of the event, but I pretend that my job there is to make everybody else there comfortable as possible, to see what they need, to connect them with other people that are there, just as a good host would do. And by taking that attitude, it allows me to approach other people. It allows me to introduce myself to them with the goal of them becoming a lot more comfortable. So let me ask you this: before, when you go to let's say a conference let's say you go into a reception, maybe it's a business association function, you're gonna meet other business people. What is the first thing that you do? What? Introduce yourself, but before you even go, what do you do? You're always gonna drink afterward. Before you go to an event, you research people. So how many of you research your professors? How many of you have, well, some of you have you done Google searches? Looked at their online resumes or
Rate my
CVs?
professor.
What?
Rate my professor. They rate your professors and give.
RateMyProfessors.com? Yes, I actually use that as well.
Especially if you use online classes with different colleges, and if you're not aware of the professor, and you can't really communicate with other students to understand how the professor works.
Yeah, RateMyProfessors.com. I'd encourage everybody to use it. I use it when I'm advising my students and trying to help them figure out what classes to take. Right? Great site, but what about a Google search for your professor? Find out what they have been involved in their lives. And if you do that, now all of a sudden you might have something that you can talk about with them. And if you're going to a function, it would be great if you could get the list of the people who are going to be there or likely to be there. It might be the members of a group. And you can research it. And in advance, you can identify these are 3 or 5 people, no more than that I really would like to get to know at this event if they're there. That way you go with a purpose in mind. So, let's practice this. I'm gonna take my first volunteer. Thanks for volunteering, come on up. Yes. Walls? What's your name?
Zachary Bob.
Zachary, okay. Always know the person that you're talking to, always try to repeat their name, okay? Now, come over here. We're gonna pretend that we're at a reception, okay? So, I am coming up to you, okay?
Okay.
Hi, my name's Ron.
I'm Zach.
Zach, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Okay, now speak up so everybody can hear us, okay?
Okay.
I'll try to yell too as much as I can, okay? All right. Zachary, what brings you here tonight?
I'm actually looking to meet some people. It's a reception, so.
Good. Yes. Well, pretty nice spread they have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. I always enjoy the bar more than anything. I'm sure you do too.
Not really. I'm pretty religious, so I don't drink.
That's very admirable. Okay. All right. Are you enjoying the conference today?
Yeah, I met a few people. They seem pretty interesting.
Good. Have you enjoyed some of the educational sessions?
Yeah, I knew some of the things that they've talked about, but nothing. Some things surprised me.
Great. Well, what surprised you? That's good right there. All right. Zachary did great. Let's give it a hand. All right. Zachary, I can't believe that you're a 2 or 3s. You did good. Okay. What you do is try to approach these in terms of levels of conversation. Level 1 is very basic. Who are you? Do you like where you're at? Nice spread today. Comment about the day itself. Don't get too deep into the relationship at first. You want to do that for several minutes. You don't want to get right into who are you, who your family members are, and things like that. You've got to start establishing a connection. The other thing is, although we were facing a little bit outward, when I am asking questions of somebody, I want to look straight at them if I can, if it's only 2 people, okay? I want my entire focus to be on them. I don't want to be looking around saying, oh, who else can I talk? Or what else is going in the room? I want to connect with him. When he answers, I want to dig just a little bit deeper. So he answered a question, and I dug just a little bit deeper by doing that. So basically what you're doing is what's called interactive listening. Listen, ask questions, right? Now, Zach isn't very well trained at the art of networking, so he didn't ask a lot of questions back, right? But if you got 2 good networkers, then you'll probably have a 50-50 conversation. Here's the key, there's probably only about 20% of the people out there who are good networkers. most of the time when you approach somebody and have a conversation with them, you're gonna be asking most of the questions, and that's exactly what it takes to build trust, as long as you're a good listener. So, I need another volunteer. Rory, come on down. We're gonna try to take it to the next level. All right? Are you nervous? Good. All right. How do I do that? All right. Rory, it's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Doctor.
Good. So, what brings you to the event today?
You're teaching class, so I thought I'd come here.
Good. What do you do?
I'm a student.
You're a student? Where at?
Health State College.
Great. What do you major in?
Business administration. I want to be a health administrator.
You want to be a healthcare administrator? Great. At a big hospital, a small hospital, or your practice? What is that?
I started at a big hospital. See what the experience would be like.
Speak up a little bit.
I want to see what the experience would be like at a big hospital.
All right, everybody else got to be quiet now, okay? All right. So let me ask you, what do you think you can personally bring to that profession?
Well, actually, I'm healthy, so
Likes to help people, okay? Is that something that your family has done in the past, or is this just something that interests you?
it interests me.
Okay,
Just grew up and raised that way, though.
good. Tell me a little bit about your family.
I grew up in Tully, New York, very rural. My parents are very hardworking people,
Wow.
so I've been hopefully raised right by them.
Well, it seems that way. Did you like growing up in such a rural area?
Oh yeah, loved it.
Great. See, it's a series of follow-up questions at that point. Rory, good job. Thank you. As you can see, we began to get deeper into the relationship a little bit. All right? I was asking him personal questions about his family, about his future, about him personally. All right? What you're trying to do in a conversation like that, by getting to know people, is you're trying to find out one thing and one thing only. How can I help this person? Not, can I sell to them? That has nothing to do with the way that business is transacted today. You want to find something that that person needs, and regardless of whether or not you are the supplier of the service or product that they want or need, you want to connect them with that. What is that going to do in the future? Mari, what's that going to do in the future? Yes, pay attention. Okay. If you help somebody else out, they will help you back tenfold. They will start referring people to you. They will say, that person knows, will help me out. When I need something that he needs, I'm going to help them back. Or if I come across somebody that needs help, and I know that Rod knows is the one who supplies that, I'm going to refer that person to them. So we need another volunteer. I'll pick somebody I don't know. Here we go. Hold up. We're going to take it to the third level now. Okay? Hi, my name's Rod.
My name's David.
David, nice meeting you. Okay? Now I'm going to pretend that I know a little bit about you already. I know a little bit about your family, okay? And I know that you're in business. We're going to pretend you're in business, okay? All right? So, let me ask you this. What's the most unique aspect of your business? Just come up with something. Okay? Let's say that you, as an example, let's say you're a veterinarian. What's the most unique aspect of your vet practice?
That all of the vets are very kind to the animals and their caretakers.
Good. That's a very nice philosophy to have, so you can comment on something that they've said. Okay? What makes a good customer for you?
Somebody who takes care of their animals, that knows what's going on, so that in the future, if they have any problems, they can let us know what they think it is, so we can inspect it.
Good. So I'm asking a very key question. Who is your favorite type of customer? I'm interested in, perhaps at some future point, I will be able to identify that. Or I might even know somebody now who needs a vet who really likes to care for people. Okay? What's the, some of the challenges that you're facing in your firm over the next year?
Keeping everybody up to date on their licenses and their training.
That can be real challenging, I'm sure. You have a good office administrator that helps you do that.
Yes and no, depends on the day and their mood.
Oh, okay, well, maybe that's something I can help you fix, because I know this person over here is looking for a job. Right, something like that, so maybe I can connect you. Good job. Thank you. When you go to a function, even as a student, you always want to have a business card. But you only give out your business card if other people ask for it. What you want to do, either as a student or in business, is you want to collect business cards. Not as many as you can, but you want to go for depth as opposed to breadth. You want to have good conversations with a few people at every event. And then beyond that, you can take it to the next level. So when you obtain a business card, there are things that you do. So I just need a real simple volunteer. Hi, do you have a business card? Great. Thank you. Rhoda? Okay.
It's Dorima.
Dorima? Dorima, yes. I see that you're from Russia. First time I met somebody from Russia. Very good. Well, really nice to meet you. Getting a business card is also the opportunity to exit the conversation. So typically you ask for business cards at the end of the conversation. But when you get it handed to you, you want to handle it gently, like it's crystal. Okay? You want to look at it, you might want to massage it a little bit with your fingers. Somebody spent a lot of time designing this business card, making sure it was printed on the right paper. And when you have examined it, you want to stick it in your pocket. Okay? Or if you have a portfolio, stick it there as well. All right? You want to make sure that you have made an impression that that person's business card means something to you. All right? Your goal in your career is to find 20 people who are connectors, just like you are. You connect other people, they connect other people to you. If you can find 20 great connectors and only have relationships with 20, you're not going to be able to have a relationship with 100 connectors, because it takes time to maintain a relationship. So let's do this a little bit differently. Let's say you're at a reception event and there's a group of people that you are approaching. There's something that you need to know about that. So let's have the three of you come out. Hold on, have it stand right over here. All right, just need your first name.
Noel.
Noel,
Marissa.
Marissa,
Taylor.
Taylor, okay? So what I'd like the three of you to do is get into a circle and talk. All right, you may be introducing yourselves at this point.
Hi, I'm Marissa. Noel. Nice to meet you. Noel. Nice to meet you.
Okay, now I'm gonna approach the circle. Keep talking.
We'd rather have no stall.
Hi, I'm Ron. Okay? When you approach a circle, there needs to be an opening. If they were a little bit closer together, all right, there may not be an opening for you. If you were just two people, it would be face to face, all right? But there's something that people do, and they consciously do it at receptions. And that's when other people approach. If they want them into the circle, they will open the circle and let that person in. So realizing that, have a conversation and I'll approach you.
From here. I'm from Buffalo. So, 2 hours from here.
If after 10 or 15 seconds it doesn't work, move on. It's nothing personal. I'll try this again. You see, I'm standing, I'm not confronting the circle, I'm standing a little bit to the side, and I'm waiting for one of them to turn outward and say, hello, how are you? So I'm kind of looking them over. Okay? Hi, nice meeting you. My name's Ron. Where's the nice meeting you? Okay, we'll stop there, okay? Great. When you're prospecting, the hardest thing is not securing a customer after you met somebody. We'll get to that in a minute. The hardest thing is identifying prospects. Networking is about getting into circles where you can get exposure to people. So name some circles that you might be exposed to people in. Work, a very big circle perhaps, or a very small one, depending on where you work. It could be work not just the employees, but the customers, okay? Or vendors. Right? You can, a lot of people find better jobs because somebody visited their firm, they were selling them something, and they were impressed with that person. So a lot of potential circles that are formed that are work related. Where else?
Class.
What?
Class.
Class. So we'll assume you're out in the real world. Okay? But classmates in college, very important. How many of you have a list of contacts someplace? A contact list? All right. In that contact list, do you have the people that you made connections with in your work here at college? Okay. Do you have family members? Do you have friends of family members in that list that you know, have met? That can be a great source for internships and jobs, right? Do you have on that contact list anybody that you met in the field in which you want to go in? And do you have it sorted so that there's a keyword that says, if I want to see anybody in your field, you can pull that up. So that when you go to do cover letters and resumes, you know how to do it. You have to actively think of what groups you're going to form, you're to join, right? So, if you're looking for people in your business, you want to look, well, where are the other typical customers in that business? Or clients, where do they spend their time? Who do they hang out with? There might be a centralized health club where everybody works out. You can go to that health club, start working out. Make impressions, people will get to know you, okay? There might be a church, a synagogue, or a mosque, a big circle of influence there. You can join a civic group of some type, volunteer, do charitable work. What you give to a charitable organization, typically you'll get back tenfold in return, in terms of helping you personally and also helping you out in your career. Participating in athletics, a big thing. Or even going with a group of people on a consistent basis to the same athletic event. You can also run for public office, all right? I don't expect anybody in the front row here to do that. But hopefully they will at some point, all right? Because there's nothing that should prevent them from doing that. Once you identify the networks, you gotta keep working at those networks consistently. There are other networks out there that don't involve going and meeting people face to face. Those are social networks. So how many of you have a Facebook page? All right. How many of you have a LinkedIn page? LinkedIn. Only about half or less. All right. Facebook is the page of your generation. LinkedIn is the page of business, right? If you want to connect to other people in your business, in your field, you will have a LinkedIn page. So let me ask you this, for those who have any type of page, social media page, is there a picture on it of you drinking? Or at a party? Perhaps not looking very good? Right? Take that picture off or change your privacy settings, all right? And nowadays, employers, if you have privacy settings, potential employers are even asking you to add them before they will hire you. They want to check out all aspects of your page. So in my mind, it's a better idea to clean things up. We had a student last year who got offered an internship, very lucrative internship down in Florida. Got the job offer. Went all the way to Florida for the interview, everything went great. Got the internship offer, came back. By the time she got back, they had looked at her Facebook page, they withdrew the offer because of the pictures that were on it, were inappropriate. So, clean up your Facebook pages. Don't put stuff on there you don't want people to know. Never write anything on your Facebook page or any other type of social media that connects back to you that you wouldn't want your mother to read, okay? And if you're writing something a little bit longer, make sure you use good grammar. Don't just, I know there's a lot of shortcuts in social media with Twitter and stuff like that, but people will go look at your tweets. They will go look at what you've written. And they will get a sense of how good or bad a writer you are simply by looking at that stuff. You may have an immaculate writing sample that you give to them, but they'll also look at your Facebook pages. Now, once you grab that business card, right, once you get that business card, what's your next step? When you get home or back to the office, you want to write a handwritten thank you note. And there's some example text in some of the materials that I handed out. It needs to be in your own hand, but if your handwriting is extremely bad, you might have somebody write it for you, okay? Put it in a plain envelope, address on the back of the envelope, handwrite the address. You never want this to be typed, okay? And put a nice stamp on it. And by that, I don't mean US flag stamp. Go get some decorative stamps at the post office. Every post office has got them. Send a thank you note. Keep a copy of it. Scan in a copy of the thank you note. Put it with your contact list so that you know that you sent that note, right? That is important because you have now made another impression on that person, especially if 6 months later, when you send out your resume to them, by them getting a thank you note from them, handwritten, okay, they are going to remember you probably about 100 times more than everybody else that they met. Another thing that you do with business cards, even if you gave the person your business card before, always put your business card inside that thank you note. That way they have known. Or they might have discarded yours first. If they have more than one, that's fine. Maybe they'll hand it out to somebody else. There are some other things that you do to convert prospects to leads. One is to have a follow-up conversation. You can go to somebody's office, you can invite them out to lunch. I think it's probably the best way, because a lot of people already have plans for lunch, or they work through lunch, is to actually invite people out to meet for breakfast. Maybe it's a Starbucks or a little cafe. What's the purpose of that? To get to know them a little bit better, to find out ways that you can help them in some way. But then you have to have this systematic process. If you like that person and you think they like you, you have to have a systematic way of saying, let's meet once a month, let's meet once every 2 months. Or maybe we can go do this event together. You have ideas that pop into your head. Once you begin a relationship, you have to say, if this is a valuable relationship, especially if it's going to be one of my top 20, I want to make sure that I maintain that, and you have to have a plan and implement that plan. There's some formal trainings that you can do that will help you network and help you communicate. One is Toastmasters, which helps people in terms of their speaking, but it really helps them out in all aspects of communicating and socializing. There's also Dale Carnegie training, which typically corporations will send some of their employees to. Toastmasters is almost free. They have a club over in Olean that meets, I think, once a month. You can even do it while you're here in college. I think they meet on 7 o'clock. Let's see, the first and third Tuesday of every month. And it's actually in Bath, New York. So I want to close with just saying there are 3 secrets to your success in life. The first one, which we covered a lot of today, is your ability to connect with people. It's socialization. The second is having self-control or grit. It's the ability to put off things for the future and get them done today, consistently, over and over again. Perseverance. And the last one is to have what are called SMART goals. Specific, measurable goals that you are going to accomplish over the next 3 months. And every time you redo your list of goals in your tracking, one of those goals are to be dealing with networking in some fashion, or expanding your comfort zone so that you're less shy if you have a fear of meeting people. And all it can be is smile, go up to somebody you don't know, introduce yourself, gather some information about them. If you do that in college, what's the worst that could happen? You get shot down? Yeah, so what? Right? If I went up to somebody and they did not want to talk to me, they didn't want to have anything to do with me, they are no longer part of my universe. Okay? But if I can go up to people and I can say, if I can stand up in a chair like this and say, I love all of you very much. You know what? Some of you are going to think, hey, he's okay. Other of you are going to say, that is one crazy son of a bitch. The people who think I'm crazy, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of other people out there who will like me for just who I am. And there's a lot of people who will like you for just who you are, as long as you connect with them. Thank you.